They turned their backs when she needed them most. But just 1 year later, the same people who laughed were on their knees, begging for a single favor.
They laughed when she buried her husband with only 2 people beside her, but 7 days later, the richest men in the village were kneeling at her feet. What happened shocked everyone. In a quiet African village where everyone knew each other's secrets, there lived a humble woman named Mama Adeku. She was kind, hardworking, and respected by only a few. Her husband, a poor farmer, died after a long illness, leaving her with 2 young children and nothing but a small piece of land. When the funeral came, the people who once ate in their home stayed away. Neighbors whispered that poverty was contagious. Even relatives refused to help. Some claimed her husband's death was a curse. Others mocked her worn-out clothes as she cried beside the grave. Only 2 elderly villagers stood with her that day. As the crowd disappeared, Mama Adeku wiped her tears and made a promise. "I may have lost everything today, but I will never lose my dignity." The next morning, while others slept, she walked to her tiny farm before sunrise. She planted vegetables, carried firewood, and sold fruits in the market. Life was hard, but she refused to beg. Months passed. One afternoon, a stranger's expensive car broke down near her farm. While everyone else ignored him, Mama Adeku offered him water and food without asking for anything in return. The man was deeply touched. He later revealed he owned one of the largest agricultural companies in the country. He had been searching for honest farmers to support. After visiting her farm, he couldn't believe how productive she had become with almost nothing. He offered her seeds, equipment, and training. Within 3 years, her small farm became the biggest food supplier in the region. She employed dozens of villagers, including many who had mocked her during her darkest days. But then came the drought. Every farm in the village dried up except Mama Adeku's because she had learned modern irrigation techniques through the company. Food became scarce. The same wealthy men who once laughed at her funeral now stood outside her gate, hungry and desperate. With tears in their eyes, they begged, "Mama Adeku, please help us." She looked at the faces that once ignored her pain. She remembered every insult, every laugh, every closed door. The village held its breath. Would she take revenge? Mama Adeku smiled gently. No child should suffer because adults failed to show kindness. She opened her warehouses and shared food freely. Not because they deserved it, but because kindness had shaped her heart. That day, the village learned a lesson they would never forget. People who mock you during your struggles may one day depend on the strength they underestimated. Never look down on someone because they are poor today. Fortunes change. Power changes. Life changes. But character remains forever. Moral of the story: never despise people in difficult times. Show kindness when others are weak, because tomorrow's helper may be the person you ignored today. True greatness is measured not by wealth, but by compassion, humility, and forgiveness. If this story touched your heart, remember, kindness costs nothing, but its reward can change generations.